Chapter 114, Tournament Finals Part 9. Tournament Finals Part 9. The last day of the tournament has finally arrived. The final match is today. Whoever wins between Benimaru and Diablo won't be doubted. That's because the ones left in the end are the strongest. If Gobta remained there might be objections against it. Well, even so, it's still a fact that Gobta remained in the top 4. However, Gobta being 4th place is obviously the 4th place should be taken by Zoe or Gerudo rather than Gobta. It could be said that Gobta is owner of strong luck. But to be able to unite with Ranga, it might not be possible to say that it's merely his good luck. Right now, he still can't master the ability, but eventually he would master it. Anyway, he would potentially achieve unification, transform in one night, so he would be able to optimize the unification. Before that, he is aiming too high to control the power. Gupta worked hard. It might be Gupta that improved the most during this tournament. Well, today's match, it can be said that Benimaru was blessed with his opponents, although he had a good match against Sui. His other matches were with lower ranked people like Gozerl, and the win by default with Gobta. On the other hand, Diablo was against three strong people, the former Demon Lord Carrion and my greatest masterpiece Beretta, the Saint Demon Doll. And at the end was Sean. His opponents were powerful people of Demon Lord class, yet he defeated them all. In any case, if he wins against Benimaru in today's match, there'll be no objection against calling him the strongest in Tempest. Well, how will it turn out? Today's live report will be conducted by Sokka alone. Milim left taking Gobta with her. Apparently, she said she will retrain Gobta for a whole day. She didn't seem interested in the final match, although I don't know if it is a good or bad thing for Gobta. It might be a rare occasion to receive training and other things from Milim personally. I want him to do his best as much as possible. It seems he trained together with Carrion San the Lion Mask too. They should become good friends. Oh well, while praying for Gupta's safety, let's watch the match. Well then, it's the last match. Final match, begin. Final, Benimaru versus Diablo. On Sokka's yell, the match began. Kufufufu. Diablo rejoiced. Joy gushing forth from deep inside his mind. The one who summoned him was truly a very wonderful master. Though he lived for a long time, he'd never come across a fight that made his heart pound like this. For him, fighting meant trampling down the opponent. The weak were only to be trampled down and get killed. After all, it's because there were only a few people that were able to hurt him, who was a resident of the spirit world. Even when he rarely manifested in the physical world, it was very simple for him to slaughter people who lived there within the time he stayed there. That also includes the summoner. After all, not knowing his own standing, the summoner summoned Diablo, who was a high-rank being. It can only be said that it was a foolish act. He couldn't even protest if he retired from the living. To begin with, what kind of race is demon? In the ancient past, during the time when the spirits of light and dark were born, receiving the blessing of light, the angel's egg was laid, and receiving the wave of darkness, the demon's seed was sowed. At the same time, when spirit of time was born, the egg hatched, and the seed budded. The two were born as a conceptual existence, with a pure energy body without a physical body. That was the origin of angels and demons. The mysterious thing was that the angels and demons that were born at the same time were on bad terms. When they meet, fighting is unavoidable. Long fights were repeatedly fought. However, because the effects of their fights were too large, unknowingly, once in every 500 years, they'll only fight for 7 days. Such an agreement was made. For Diablo who finds pleasure in fighting, such a peaceful period was the most tedious time. For them who don't have physical bodies, they don't have the ability to interfere with the physical world. That's why he rejoiced when the summons from the new Demon Lord came. It marked the end of his monotonous time. That Demon Lord Rimuru said, "I prepared thy food, body. Come forth, demon. Be helpful and serve me." He grows excited every time he recalls it. He was summoned and named. He felt so intuitionally. Intuitionally. He annihilated the small fries demons who tried to steal the march, and then he put on a nonchalant look, and so he obtained it, a new body and a master who was worthy for him to pledge his allegiance to. That body adapted to him, the body transformed into one he wished for by liberally spending the saved magic power that he hadn't used before. In addition, his master Rimuru had evolved into a true demon lord. He felt the influx of energy overflowing into him and replenishing the consumed magic power. And the most decisive thing, he was given a name. The body that was made from magic power that had been saved up over a long time. The empty body was fully injected with magic power, and when he receives a name, his form stabilized. For him, fighting meant trampling down the opponent. That's why he doesn't have any interest in strength. After all, it's because he doesn't have any memory of having a hard fight. Even in fight against the angel, it was just a massacre and the usual thing for him. Therefore, when the saved up magic power was completely consumed, he became a powerful person worthy to be called a demon duke. Even in the demon world, there is no existence that is higher than him. Right now, he could stably use his experience that he had acquired over a very long time. He might really become an existence proportional to a true demon lord. Even Diablo can see the limit of his master Rimuru. For the first time, Diablo realized there is a sky above the sky, and for him that didn't have any interest in strength till now, Diablo also began to wish for strength after being inspired by his monster friends. First place, that was a proof of being the highest among the monster subordinates of Demon Lord Rimuru. It was the proof of being the most useful and trusted person. What a sweet sound that titillated the mind. By all costs, the seat of first rank must be mine. So Diablo thought. Sean, who proposed the ranking, was defeated by him, but he also admits Sean was the strongest Oni. Since she was his opponent for the semifinal, it's not possible to let down his guard. Kufufufu. However, the one who win this is me. While Diablo looks forward to the fight, he doesn't doubt his victory. Final match begin. By Sokka signal, the final match begin. Now all that's left is to win against Benimaru with all his power. Diablo was not yet eager, but he released the power he carried in his body. Benimaru thought while observing Diablo, this demon is haphazard. There are many powerful mutated people amongst Rimuru's subordinates, but only this demon Diablo is special. In Benimaru's insight, if he and Sean fought directly, without doubt the winner would be Sean. So he thought. The reason is simple. Benimaru is suited for a group fight, while Sean is cut out for individual fight. It's only that turning the same amount of energy for group attack into one target would increase the power. But even with such condition, he thought that Sean had more advantages in a one versus one battle. And yet, in front of Jabla, that Sean was defeated. It was a direct fight, yet she was overwhelmed. Benimaru thought that his chance to win with a straightforward fight is low. However, in response to Sokka's yell, he distanced himself from Diablo in an instant. Tricks and lukewarm techniques were meaningless. The right choice is to challenge the opponent with the strongest skill with maximum power. That was the decision Benimaru took after watching the defeated Lion Masks and Sean's battle. It was decided in the beginning. Hell Flare Black Flame Prison. A black ball as big as a fist flies towards Diablo. There is no attempt from Diablo to avoid it. The formation of the magic circle is completed immediately, and a dome of 3 meters in diameter was formed with Diablo at its center. Unlike the one from before, it's loaded with enormous magic power. It was the successful compression of Hellfire, which had an unparalleled power which cannot be resisted. Just like Benimaru, Diablo also has resistance against natural effects, but it's useless against the nullification attribute of the Black Flame. When the dome is completed, Benimaru's victory will be guaranteed, or at least that's what should happen. Kufufufu. If I receive this attack straight ahead, it will be dangerous paradise time. Time of allurement. Diablo's voice is heard, and the surrounding time stops. Before he was thoroughly burnt by the dome of black flame, the movement of the magic power was stopped, and the generation of heat was obstructed. Though he only saw it for an instant, he fathomed the detail of the technique and its countermeasure. It was another effect of the unique skill, Great Wise Man, that Diablo possessed. For Diablo that had mastered this skill, skills that need long activation times are useless against him. This was surely the most dreadful aspect of he who had diligently mastered this ability. Also, the reason why Diablo deliberately let himself receive the attacks from his opponent was only to reconfirm the result from his analytical appraisal. In case of some techniques, he could even steal it just by seeing it. Just by looking, my technique was sealed. In the stopped world, Benimaru grumbled to Diablo. His first card is sealed. There is no anxiety in Benimaru while he's thinking about the next plan. From the beginning, Diablo was in better position because he had seen through one's mind. But even if they predict that they are equal in simple physical combat, if there is no winning move, it will be useless. Since there is a physical attack nullification, a simple slash won't give any damage. Although it's possible with Aura Blade, its power is too weak to deal fatal damage to either of them. Rather, Benimaru predicted that he would lose if Diablo put his ability to use. Kufufufu, please stop being pretentious. You still have a trump card, right? You will die if you aren't really serious when receiving my technique, you know. Diablo began the movement to use the technique, and at the same time, as he declared, End of World that surpassed Sean's special move. It's a super special move. Benimaru judged that he had no time to think and released a master swordsman art he had learned from Hakuro, Deem Stream Slash. It's just like flowing water, warding everything and deflect it back at the opponent without being able to grasp its elegant simplicity. Its effect will perplex the opponent. It is the pinnacle of sword arts. End of World, Deem Current Slash. At the same time, as End of World was cast, the time stopped by Paradise Time begins to flow. Receiving the after effects of End of World, an intense pain went through Benimaru's whole body. The energy that was unable to be warded off by Dim Current Slash penetrated his whole body. Fufufufu, you still got more, or do you give up? Benimaru was blown off and rolled over on the ground when the stop time began to move again. Even though the sense of pain was nullified, his whole body was in pain. He noticed that This was a sign that his life was in danger. Diablo asks Benimaru with carefree tone, but Benimaru had no time to reply. Rather, to receive end of the world inside of paradise time and still be capable of safely standing would be abnormal. However, he didn't care about such thoughts. Benimaru believed that he himself was worthless. His sword skill had improved so that he could now fight on par with Hakuro. His ability to concentrate magic power to use in combat had also increased, and he could use it for various purposes. But Benimaru was inferior to Shon in individual fights. He was also inferior to Ranga in large-scale fights. In the end, he who specialized in commanding and seeing the whole picture is he unable to transcend the wall of strength. That was the issue Benimaru faced. As the army commander, he was able to become useful for Rimuru. However, as he was right now, wasn't it impossible for him to become Rimuru's shield? He was haunted by such anxiety. That's why. Don't screw around with me. Why there is a need for this great me to be worried about such a small and unimportant thing. He gradually became furious. Originally, he held a short-tempered personality. He had become more mature and learned patience recently, but there is no way his initial personality can change so easily. As a commander, he held a sense of responsibility merely to make the aim of harmonious surroundings come to fruition. To stop is foolish. It's not like me. To worry repetitively is troublesome. That's right. I only need to win. If the opportunity is non-existent, then I'll just make one appear. Benimaru made a big breakthrough. Benimaru stood up and brandished his katana without answering Diablo's question. Diablo, who saw that appearance was as the decision for the continuation of the fight, laughed lightly. Fufufufu, it's Benimaru indeed. So he said as he took out a distorted blade, holding it with both hands. Its appearance is like three claws. It's symmetric. The length of one claw is about 1 meter, a sharp double-edged blade. It's a special weapon made by Kurobe for Diablo, a scissors bladed claw scissor. Seeing Diablo, who didn't use weapon before and letting out his personal weapon right now, a commotion arises inside the Colosseum. And while anticipating something, they were engulfed by an intense enthusiasm. Benimaru discarded his hesitation and had his mind focus. In the first place, there is a guy who improves greatly during a fight. If you say recently, it's Grobta. If that idiot can, there's no way I can't. Is the simplest answer Benimaru came up with. I'll do it. I will not let this bastard look down on my power. And while calming his mind, a thick aura enclosed his whole body. He invoked the demon flame transformation. The injury in his body is healed. At the same time, he fused the thick aura and the black flame into one. There are no ripples in it. A beautiful dark red aura covers his entire body, and the preparation was complete. It didn't even take more than a second. I will become serious next. Don't resent me even if you die, okay? Fufufufu, such confidence. I don't dislike it. Their gaze intersected. Each one of them released the greatest technique they held, Scissors of Endlife's Harvest, Rebirth Interment Blast of Flame the Hazy Black Flame. Diablo's scissors, which reaps all lives in a moment it clashed with Benemer's katana, died in crimson. It was stopped and repelled back. When the katana was retracted, a surge of black flame aura struck Diablo and slashed at him. Just like flowing water, it cannot be eluded. The flame wrapped up and thoroughly burned everything. Right now, produced at this moment, was Benemer's special move. Benemer's katana couldn't stand the heat and the impact, so it broke and melted. Diablo's scissors melted too because of the damage it received from Benemer's katana, and because something he couldn't use and became something he couldn't use. Of course, Diablo, who was building it, was also received a large wound on his chest and fell to the ground, defeated. Kufufufufu, splendid. This is the first time in my life that I tasted defeat. What is this? This bitterness. Never again do I want to taste such a thing. Never again. What do you think a fight is? Benimaru fell to his knee. As well, it seems like he had exhausted his spirit energy. It's victory for contestant Benimaru, so Sokka declared. At this moment, the winner was decided. It was a long tournament that lasted for several days, and so the end arrived. Oh, natalo si Diablo. End of chapter 114.